during the month of June, one of the biggest campaigns that is currently active is still pulling in the money. Probably. Fuel Pay was originally on Indiegogo and promised to give you free fuel. The idea is that it plugs into your car's lighter socket, connects to your phone and uses your car's excess energy to mine for Bitcoin, which then gets transferred into cryptocurrency, which then converts to real money, which then gets put onto your Fuel Pay credit card on the fly so that you can use it to pay for petrol, diesel or electric cars, essentially giving you free fuel, apparently. This thing is a huge scam. Not only does it simply just not work, well, not to the level where it's going to be giving you free fuel at least, but the actual device itself is completely faked. Here's the device where it plugs into your car, which also has a power socket for some reason, and an Ethernet cable adapter too, for whatever reason. What are people driving? And here's one from the Reddit user Duskwolf found on Alibaba, which just so happens to also be a 4K TV box. Definitely not the same thing, right? Also, why is it sort of see-through? Anyway, this campaign is old news. It got taken down from Indiegogo back in May, but it has since found a new life on Launchbacker. If you've never heard of Launchbacker, join the club, because it was designed to literally sell Fuel Pay and nothing else. In other words, it's a fake website, no doubt with fake numbers all over it, and should be avoided at all costs. You know, unless you fancy a laugh. Like an iPhone makes calls, this pays for your fuel. What? Yes guys, welcome to Kickscammer News for the month of June 2020. This is my sort of news show looking at all of the good, the bad and the ugly on sites such as Kickstarter, Indiegogo and of course GoFundMe. And I've got plenty to talk about this month because towards the earlier part of this year a lot of people weren't using these websites and a lot of people weren't creating campaigns on these websites due to the pandemic that we are currently in. But as we start to recover from that, people are starting to go back to these websites, and like I said, June came up with quite a lot. So let's get straight into it. But first, starting us off on June the 2nd, a very odd campaign pops up on Kickstarter, which was essentially a Pokemon tabletop role-playing game. And it got funded, guys, probably because the goal was only $50. He's technically not selling anything and sees that as his get out of jail free card when Nintendo come a-knocking. It's essentially a computer program that plays along with you and your Dungeons and Dragons dice, which he wants to convert into a more user-friendly setup. If you ask me, it's only a matter of time before this does get taken down, and you can be damn sure I will be there when it does, because it's most likely going to be happening at this rate after it gets funded. Jeez. But on the flip side, also, whilst we're here on the 2nd of June, I gotta be giving a massive shout out to Curse of the Sea Rats, which is a game that you have no doubt been seeing slapped all over your Facebook advertisements, just like me. A fully funded in 9 hours hand-drawn Metroidvania, or Rat Droidvania as they are calling it, where you play as a rat dressed up as a pirate in this stunning 2D exploration and combat-filled game. Yeah, I haven't done a very good job at selling it, and nor do I need to. The game looks stunning, and yes, I am indeed a backer for this one. It's right up my street. As always, links to all of these things can be found in the description if they're up your street as well. The news site The Register, which was crazy resourceful when I was doing my Vega Plus Kickscammer video, looks to be just as resourceful for the upcoming Atari VCS video, which is definitely going to be coming. Because on June the 3rd, the following news article popped up. Not just its VCS console is missing in action, Atari is a no-show in court too. Reborn Biz ignores hardware architect's lawsuit over unpaid wages. So in a nutshell, you may remember me bringing up Rob Wyatt in the past and his company Tin Giant, who was not only the person who designed the Atari VCS, which I'm sure you can all agree is the best thing about this terrible campaign so far, but he was also one of the people to not get paid for his work on the device. $261,720 is what he is fighting for, and Atari is very likely going to have to pay that because as of right now, they haven't done anything to rectify or even battle this issue, as they didn't show up in court. Not a great look for a system that apparently is finally starting to get shipped out. This is not the last you're going to be hearing about the Atari VCS in this very episode. Time for another attempt at creating a game based on an IP where the campaign owner 100% does not have the right to do so. So yeah, in today's episode of It Ain't Allowed and It's Never Gonna Get Funded, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG. Asking for a ridiculous £1 million and so far gaining £39 from 6 backers. And yes, I am one of those backers. The body of text on this particular campaign reads, "So a while back, I remember seeing people talking about what it would be like to have an Avatar MMO. I'm here to kind of give people what they want. I can't promise anything, but me and my fiancé are both game design graduates as well as MMO veterans, so we know exactly what makes and breaks an MMO. Doesn't exactly fill you with confidence, does it? Looking in the comments, you can see that I am not the only person that's backing this campaign for its comedic appeal. Turns out that Renegade Gaming is still working out what kind of game they want to make, and apparently he has contacted Nickelodeon asking for permission to use the Avatar name. He's just waiting to hear back. Anyone fancy putting any bets down on this one actually getting made? So you guys may remember me talking about Indivisible last month accidentally getting released digitally on the Nintendo Switch. Well, that's not the only thing that went wrong for this game's launch. Because when backers got their physical release in America, a few of the more observant collectors noticed that the front of the box had an ESRB rating printed on it. But the cartridge clearly came from Europe. If you're thinking, what is the big deal with all of this? Well, it's because this ESRB rating on the physical release is essentially faked, which is not only a little bit dodgy, but also a very bit dodgy and kind of illegal too, if I'm not mistaken. Quite the odd route to go down for the Indiegogo project, if you ask me. And oh, by the way, the demaked version of this game has also started popping up on AliExpress too, much to the developers' disapproval. It's June the 10th and we are still talking about Bloodstained. Yep, in the campaign's update section it was reported that this game has hit 1 million sales. Quite the big landmark for any game, as I'm sure you will all agree. But on top of that, the update also goes into detail explaining that updates for this game are far from over. In 2020, we can expect several major updates to the game, starting with a boss rush revenge mode and extra customization options for your character in the second quarter of this year. A versus mode and a chaos mode, which is essentially single or multiplayer like randomized boss rush mode, and a retro-inspired typical linear level-like mode, which will be added into the third quarter of this year, and finally a third playable character will also be added to into the fourth quarter of this year. If this all goes ahead, that's pretty impressive stuff for this kickstarted video game. Now, you guys may remember a trailer for a game called Little Devil Inside on the PlayStation 5 reveals showreel thing. What you may not know about this is just how wound up backers were of this announcement. Oh yes. This was originally a Kickstarter, a very, very delayed Kickstarter that was, 1, supposed to be released on June of 2016, and 2, available on Steam, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and thanks to stretch goals, the Wii U too. Well, that's not happening anymore, is it? Not only has this campaign not exactly been looking all that good during its life, with an entire year almost falling off the calendar with no real update ever getting shipped out, but now essentially every single backer that backed it isn't going to be getting the game released on the system that they originally pledged for. Now apparently this exclusivity deal is only a timed exclusivity deal, but still it is the same issues we saw with Shenmue 3 happening all over again. However, moving away from the PlayStation 5 news to the Nintendo Switch news, a brand new Super Smash Bros. Controller found its way onto Kickstarter on the 9th of June and then was cancelled on the 11th, even though it hit its goal, and I have no idea why. So obviously you know this controller is nice, like really nice, but the target market they seem to be going for is Smash players that want a better controller than the GameCube controller. That one controller that is without a shadow of a doubt the very best controller ever made according to the Smash community. Is this one going to be better? Well, it definitely had some stiff competition. Regardless, in only a day or two, it actually did hit its target, and then, as stated, it got taken down by the campaign owner. This wasn't done by Nintendo though, or at least that's what we're told, but instead the campaign owners have decided to take feedback from the backers and redesign the product, and have claimed that they will be back as soon as the time is right. If and when they do, you can be damn sure that I will be taking a look. Any campaign based on NASA or space travel, anything like that, will always bring in big numbers. And on June the 18th, one campaign gave you the ability to smell like space. Yes, you can now smell like space, a smell that very few people have ever had the opportunity to smell, although according to reports in the campaign video, that smell is apparently kinda like a burnt cookie, which sadly is a smell that I am very familiar with. Also, gotta give a shout out to Level 99 Games with their upcoming board game, Bullet, that got funded on the same day. The idea is completely bonkers for this one, as it attempts to recreate the crazy action found in shmup video games, and like I said, turn it into a board game. It's a crazy concept, but a really intriguing one. Hopefully this goes ahead without any hiccups, as this one looks really good. Well done, guys. Another very interesting campaign got fully funded on June the 21st, called Elisa, to the tune of €28,816. It's a PlayStation 1 looking horror game built in Unity, with all of its over-the-top low poly glory, which has started to see a bit of a comeback in recent years. Personally, these games have not always been my cup of tea besides the real obvious ones, and this game looks exactly like one of those titles. It's creepy, it has a stunning style about it, and it looks perfectly 90s. Well worth checking out if this sort of thing is up your street. A new graphic novel comic campaign for a graphic novel called Florida Man was about halfway to hitting its goal. And then, after promoting it on Reddit, an angry moderator deleted the post and banned the promoter due to previous wordings about Comicsgate by the creator. And as a result, news sites picked up on this, and as expected, it gave it the marketing buzz it needed to hit its goal within around 24 hours, and it's still rising. The Indiegogo comic, based on their hillbilly-like stereotypes of a Floridian alligator wrestlers, moonshake drinkers, and trailer homeowners, is doing rather well for itself on the platform, and with the help of the angry admin on Reddit, it hit that goal very quickly. And would you believe it? It's the same Streisand effect that actually happened to me. Because when angry backers tried to stop me from telling the story of the iBackpack, they ended up giving me all of the information that I needed to do so in the process. This video that you're seeing is live right now, by the way, guys, as an exclusive for all Patreons and YouTube members. Links in the description. Star Fox fans, rejoice, because on the 23rd of June, the ultimate Star Fox inspired video game made its way over to Kickstarter, and it's already hit its goal. It's doing very nicely. EX Zodiac does everything that you want it to, and it also comes with a demo right on the page, something that I've always been a big fan of when it comes to video game related Kickstarters. Now obviously by today's standards it looks kinda bad, I suppose, but obviously that's exactly what it's going for, a hardcore homage to one of the most innovative games of the 16-bit era, and thankfully this time it's not going to be forcing you to play it with 2 screens. But guys, sadly this isn't the only news to come from June 23rd. Because in some rather disturbing crowdfunding news, this guy that you're seeing right here was thankfully sentenced to 14 months in prison on that same day. What did he do? Well, he went and set up a GoFundMe for the horrific Humboldt Broncos bus accident where the vast majority of a junior ice hockey team were killed in a tragic road accident. He raised money to help them, and although he denies this, he kept the money for himself. He is now thankfully on his way to jail for profiting off the back of this horrific event. I still do not have a physical copy of The Wonderful 101, a game that I spent about £53.50 on already because I backed it on Kickstarter, and it's likely that I'm going to be spending another £17 on that too. So what's going on here? Well, it's because I backed the game on Kickstarter, like I said, and I didn't buy it from a site like, I don't know, base.com where you can go and get it delivered for £32. Instead, my donation technically helped make the game, and now I've got to wait for that game to arrive and pay an extra £17 postage because of customs for the privilege. This is something I was not expecting to do, as was plenty of their UK gamers, and it's something that we've all just sadly got to live with. Paying roughly 70 quid for a game we can pick up for less than half that price. In a response, the campaign owner had this to say. A number of our UK backers have informed us that they've had additional taxes applied when receiving their packages. Although possible methods of alleviating this were considered, the tariff duties for different countries can be very strict, and we made sure to comply with all corresponding legal restrictions. We are sorry for the additional charges, but it is clearly stated in the FAQ on the Kickstarter page that all physical rewards are shipped out from the United States, and that any applicable VAT or regional tariffs would be paid by backers. This was met with even more angry responses, as that FAQ that they've just mentioned wasn't even added until February the 12th, when the vast majority, myself included, had already backed it. Because of this, many fans have shamed the company over this deceiving FAQ edition and have sworn to never back any of their future projects in the future. All for a game that sold quite badly and didn't review all that well either on the Wii U. Nintendo fans, am I right? Oh wait, I backed this one, didn't I? On June the 27th, 2 very weird things happened. Firstly, a real Atari VCS was seen in the wild as it was sent out for review. And I kind of made a bit of a mistake. You see, I back a lot of things at the £1 level over on Kickstarter simply because I know that they're gonna fail, and at least the way I get to see it, any exclusive updates when it eventually does fail, because you know it's definitely going to fail, I will get to see because I was a backer and I wouldn't lose any money in the process. Now, I'm not upset that I've just lost £1, I'm more upset that I gave any kind of money to this terrible looking IP stealing first person shooting game. But I accidentally did. I suppose I'll give you guys more updates on this in the future? Oh, damn it, how did I miss that goal? After the incredibly rushed launch on the 27th of June, the horrific Kickstarter for Eddie the Yeti finally got a campaign video. And no guys, I am not editing this. Wow, it's just like Breath of the Wild, isn't it? Nope. You see, not only is Eddie the Yeti technically already a character in the Sonic the Hedgehog universe, something a 2-second Google search would obviously have solved, but this game just simply looks terrible. The only thing it possibly has going for it is that it's so terrible, it could end up in loads of those "it's so bad, let's make fun of it" reaction videos. I mean, I think it's time that we leave big rigs and plumbers don't wear ties alone now anyway, isn't it? Come on, guys. Time to start making original content, please. Oh, for God's sake. On the 30th of June, this thing got put out on Kickstarter. Arm Pow. It's really cool. This is one of those campaigns that's doing so well you can literally just watch the money going up. It's something that's incredibly unique and niche, and yes, I actually do have one. I've got plenty to talk about with this, so expect to see a video about the ups and downs of building this bad boy, made from rubbing wax and cutting out bits of wood and screwing together screws and filling up syringes with water. It's insanely technical and pretty damn impressive. Like I said, I'll be doing a full, honest review about the ups and downs of this particular device within the next week or so, once I've built the second device. But in short, it's a lot of fun. At the very least, it's definitely worth checking out. And finally, for my recommendation of the month. Haha, you thought I was going to do the arm pow, didn't you? Oh, no, no, no. I'm not that much of a sellout, guys. I want to showcase to you Pizza Rush. Why have I decided to choose such a simple looking game for my recommendation of the month? Well, simply because this is, for me, the perfect Kickstarter campaign. I look up so many board game related Kickstarters, and so many of them have crazy long-winded videos looking at the history of the characters or the story behind the game or the mythos behind the game. This is different. It gets straight to the point. It gives you a little insight into the designer of the game too. It's a fairly cheap game that looks fairly easy to produce. It's created by a designer that wants to do more. Everything about the campaign is bright, colourful and catchy. You got how to play videos further down, and it's got a reasonable goal which it's already hit. Seriously, I moan and poke fun at campaigns all the time, but when one as humble, honest, simple and as good as this one pops up, I feel like it's my duty to talk about it. Even if a simple card game about pizza toppings isn't your thing, I still highly suggest you go and take the time to look at this one if you are one of those small-time crowdfunding goers that constantly ask me for advice on how to do a crowdfunding campaign. This is how you do a crowdfunding campaign. Let's just hope that this guy delivers on his promises and that I don't have to eat my own words. And that, guys, is my roundup for June on places like Kickstarter, Indiegogo and GoFundMe. Massive thanks goes out to the sponsor of this particular episode, ridgewallet.com. A massive thanks goes out to my Kickscammer detective agency, and a massive thanks goes out to the subreddit Shitty Kickstarters. And of course, if you want to support the show, there will be links down below to do that as well. Anyway, a massive thanks for watching the video, and hopefully, guys, I'll be seeing you all next time.